Welcome to Designing Async Systems. A workflow can still look familiar at the business level, but once it moves into background workers, correctness depends on events, retries, ordering, and observability.
So what has to change when work moves across time?
The important parts have to become explicit. A synchronous workflow moving to background workers improves responsiveness, but it also changes the design pressure.
So the business flow looks the same, but the execution model changes.
Exactly. Correctness now depends on events, retries, ordering, and observability. A useful model is workflow, queue, worker, and evidence. The workflow submits work, the queue delivers it later, the worker acts later still, and the evidence logs what happened.
Is evidence just for debugging?
No. In async design, evidence is part of the argument that the system behaved correctly across time. There are 4 core ideas here: event storming, workflow orchestration, error propagation, and observability.
Why start with events?
Because event storming makes significant events explicit, and once the events are named, the invariant becomes easier to see. A design can pass once under ideal conditions and still be wrong.
Why would a passing test still miss the bug?
Because timing changes. The same operation can repeat, arrive late, or act on stale state if the event boundary was never made explicit. When async work gets more complex, the orchestrator becomes the control point that decides what happens next.
Is that just another moving part?
It is, but it makes the control logic explicit and keeps the workflow coherent. Failure in the background is different from failure in a request-response flow. There may be no user waiting for an error.
So do we just retry the worker?
Only if the handler is retry safe. Usually that means idempotency, durable state, or another recovery path that avoids duplicate side effects. Observability is essential once work moves across workers and across time. Correlation IDs, structured logs, and traces connect a request to later events.
Why is that part of the design?
Because without it, you do not have defensible evidence that the system behaved correctly. Start with the invariant, then choose the control.
What controls are on the table?
Version checks, idempotency keys, durable completion records, retry with backoff, compensation, and reconciliation all protect the invariant in different ways. A checkout flow makes the pattern concrete. The order event is published, the queue delivers it, the worker claims an idempotency key, and then the downstream notification happens.
So duplicate delivery has to be harmless?
Yes, it should be harmless by design, not by luck. The state transition path is enqueued, delivered, processing, completed, and acknowledged.
Why does the order matter so much?
Because that ordering protects the invariant that the external effect happens at most once, even if delivery happens more than once. Now make the failure uncomfortable. One worker ships the order, then crashes before acknowledgement, and the queue redelivers the same event to another worker.
So delivery count and execution count are not the same thing.
Exactly. Once they diverge, structured evidence is what shows whether the side effect repeated or the workflow got stuck. The corrected direction is to protect the invariant directly.
What does that usually require?
Idempotency keys, durable completion records, retry safe handlers, and reconciliation where needed. The trade-off table is really a comparison of controls under different pressure.
So there is no single best option.
Right. Simple baselines, guarded transitions, explicit coordination, and idempotent retry safe design all solve different failure modes. To finish, treat async design like something you have to prove.
What should the $44 claim?
Run the happy path, run the pressure path, capture logs with IDs, preserve the failing scenario, and defend the fix with evidence.